Welcome to AgriTech Leaders podcast. Today, our guest is Lund, one of the leaders in grain handling industry. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me in.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Our viewers will love to learn more about you. If you can introduce yourself, tell us what about your experience and what are you doing exactly now, please.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be happy to. Yes, as you said, my name is Jan Lund. I'm a director who is responsible for all the commercial and internal different things, IT and so on in the company Sobi in Denmark. I think we'll get back to the machines and what we're doing in business and so on. But my personal career has been for many years, most my whole career have been in machine business, starting in the woodworking for many years, and the last 4 or 5 years in the agro business. So I love machines, and that is a special discipline, I think, for in terms of development and also in terms of understanding the customers and business and so on. And I have been a lot around in the business, from sales to management to group management, but always I have been focused on let's say, what happens between customers and us as a supplier of valuable solutions. That have been in top of mind. We need to understand what the people around us are asking to give value to the process and to what is happening.
Right. So I think it's valid for any business. You need to solve a problem in the marketplace in order for customers to pay for your services or for your goods.
Yeah.
You know. So let me ask you, what kind of problem your company is solving in the marketplace?
Yes. What our focus is grain handling. We are focused on the grain handling in projects of storage and drying different kinds of seeds and grain, and we have special focus on the transport and also afterwards. We have, for example, different models of fans that keeps the material in the storage after drying, keep it, what is it called, able to stable on in the stock, so it doesn't rotten or get infected and so on. So our focus is on the, let's say, the most valuable part of the farmers or the industry part of their business, the grain. And it's the grain that is, let's say, their gold and what they are working half the year or even more to get out of the fields, and we take care of that.
It would be interesting to learn how you end up in this industry. How did you start?
I actually wanted to, before getting retired in some years, but I would like to try another business after many years in the woodworking. And I made a quite deep search process and find that the company Sobi was looking for a person who could add some new competences and so on. And then I made some research on the agro business, and I found it actually very interesting according to what, let's say, what the business does for the whole supply of food and so on of course locally, but also in the whole world. That is a very important business. So that I wanted to take part of and be a part of when I had the opportunity.
Yeah, okay. It would be very interesting to learn also from the job seekers' perspective. Um, if there is one thing, one interesting thing you could say to a job seeker today to ask, to convince them to join this industry, because there is, like in most industries, is a big um, gap. It's a lack. We are facing a lack of labor force. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
crisis. It's very hard to find employees
yeah,
in most industries in the Western world. So therefore, it will be interesting what kind of advice you could give to a job seeker that to convince them to join the grain handling industry, which
yeah,
is quite interesting and important for the
yeah,
food security chain.
yeah, yeah. I can start with what I just said. The reason that I found the agro business very interesting is that we are in the business in general are changing a little bit now in according to generations. How, for example, farmers were my father's generation, for example, and let's say my son, if he was a farmer, their way of thinking is quite different, and the business also are facing a huge challenge over digitization. And this let's say this and a very interesting challenge, I would say. And this I found very interesting to be part of, because if you are, let's say, if you like to make some developing, you like to see something change, and then it's a very interesting thing to go into the agro business, or even look into it, what is happening and what your personal possibilities could be in sales or in software or in projects or whatever. There's a lot of possibilities in the business that also I think that many job seekers don't see.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, you are right. We'll get back to that and speak, discuss it about in more details.
Yeah.
Would be also interesting for our viewers and also for job seekers out there to learn what is the biggest challenge that you faced in this industry. Coming from a different industry, you started with the grain handling. What was the thing that hit you in your face, so to speak?
Exactly the same thing that hits me when I started in the woodworking business in the 19s or late 80s. Habits.
Habits. Okay.
Yeah. People are very focused on doing things like they did yesterday.
Yeah, right.
People know what they want, not necessarily what they need. That is the big challenge, but that is also a very interesting challenge, because that gives also a lot of space to develop. So
Yeah,
that's a very short answer, but that is habit is one of the big challenges. But it is that's a mindset in people, and that it doesn't matter if it's customers in the agro business, or it's internal developers, sales guys, or whatever in the agro business. But the farmers are doing the things more or less the same way that they have done for many years.
right. In any challenge, there is also opportunity.
Yeah.
So you have a tremendous experience in sales, and therefore will be interesting also to learn from you. How did you overcome this challenge of habits?
Yeah. That depends a lot of the situation. If you are going into a market with a new product, or a new way of thinking, or whatever, of course, need to convince people that the new things, the new machine or the new software, whatever, are something that helps you. But if you keep on, if you think you have, of course, the right solution and the right thing to offer that really add value, then just speak to the wallet, just follow the money, and when the customer he sees that, then he's easy to persuade to change the habits. So that is also a challenge for us as a company, that we need to be very focused on what I said before, what is happening at our customers, what are they asking for, and what are the really needs, because that's not necessarily the same. They ask only for things that they know, they don't ask for things that they don't.
Exactly. So yeah, in sales, probably the most important skills are the skills of asking the right questions and then really listening.
Yeah, exactly.
To what the customer is saying. Yeah. Since you mentioned about change habits and change, have you noticed any shift, any change in the industry since you started until today? Do you have any feeling about this?
No, not really. Yeah, sorry. There's been change because there's a new generation coming in, especially by our customers, the young farmers and so on, are really thinking in another way. That I think it helps the development a lot.
Would you say that the new generation of farmers, the younger farmers, have a different influence on the market, but at the same time, it's from our perspective, we should also contribute to the improvement or to evolution of the market. So what would you say was the most transformative innovation in the grain industry in the past years?
I think the working with data is I think have been the big game changers, and data is used a lot, let's say, in the handling and the seeds and so on out in the fields, and now slowly perhaps, but now also coming into the part that we are working with, so that we connect the informations that we get in from, let's say, from the fields, the material handling and so on, and take it into our storage, and know how stable for example, the grains are, or moisture and so on. So I think that working with data is and online IoT solutions and so on have been and will be even more a big change in the industry in the future, and I think it'll go very fast the next years.
Yeah, in fact, personally, I was impressed by your approach in this field, and I think you are one of the innovators in and early adopters of technology in the grain handling and grain storage industry. So, would be interesting to know you have a first-hand impressions about these new technologies. How did you leverage it in your daily activity and in your equipment, and what kind of impact those things had in the marketplace or in front of the customers?
I should add that our way of going to the market is through dealers. Okay. So we have actually two groups that we need to satisfy. We need to satisfy our dealer, and we need also to satisfy the end users, the farmers and the industry. So our main focus have been for the last 2-3 years that we need to help our dealers to let's say to not to sell, but to come with good advice and help them also to make offers and so on the projects with easy access to our machines and prices and so on. So that is step number one, is to make it easy for our dealers to handle the customer inquiries. And then our next focus that we are started actually a bit, but will even more, is that we need to take care of the after sales and access to spare parts, to accessories and so on, directly from the end users, from the customers to us, but through the dealers, of course, because we don't want to go to bypass them. But if the customer see that he have a quick access through the dealer to our stores and so on, then we have a quicker reaction in the market.
I see.
Yeah.
Is
also because it is that, as I said before, it's all about that we're taking care of the grains and the value for the customers, but here also we need to take care of the running time of the machines, that the downtime is can be very critical.
Okay. I know you are involved also in sustainability. How do you think climate change affects the business today and maybe in the future? Do you have any thoughts about this?
Yes, we have a lot of thoughts about it, actually, because we think that it will be very, very important in the future. But it's actually the picture I see today is that the farmers are, let's say, they have a lot of demands. They have a lot of different things from the governments in each country and so on, how they need to treat the pesticides and so on. But they are not so focused in let's say, when in the supply chain, for example, for machines and for different other things. But that I think will come in the near future. We have in some countries we see that the governments are now starting to make carbon taxes and so on, and the farmers or industries needs to make an accounting of what their emissions are and so on. And we need, I think, to look into this thing also. We have some thoughts about it, but it will be very, very important in the future. That's for sure.
Yeah, in fact, farmers are bearing a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressures from governments and other organizations, just they basically have the responsibility to do to implement all these changes towards carbon zero targets and so on. It's very complicated for them.
Yeah.
But for you being part of this chain, what would you say is the biggest challenge for the grain industry today?
According to the green agenda, or what do you think about the question? What is the main challenge for the grain industry?
Yeah, I mean, just to give you an example. So at this moment, we have many conflicts, and the number, unfortunately, is rising. So at this moment, logistic chains and many other things are affected by this. How are you affected by this situation all over the world. You know, geopolitical.
Yeah.
There were so many crises in the past years. It was a steel crisis, microchips crisis, all sorts of metal crisis, and basically,
Yeah.
it's there are many micro crises all over the world that
Yeah.
affects our business, our industry.
Yeah.
Would be interesting. Which one you think is the most difficult to handle or the most challenging for you?
I without any doubt, I can say for us, it's the war in Ukraine. It's obvious that with Russia and Ukraine as two of the biggest producers and exporters of grains and especially wheat and so on, but also other things, it gives a lot of challenge in the market. Grain prices dumping, dropping, and a lot of things of the logistic, as you say, that interferes let's say, the normal way that things have been handled previously. And that affects us because we are mainly in Europe. In other parts of the world, they're not so affected because they perhaps in the American continent, they produce more or less, not for themselves 100%, but they consume a lot of their own products in those two, in North and South America. So they don't see it, the problem so much affected by the war. But that is very present for us. And also because that is the steel crisis, is the supply chain crisis, is for goods coming in the factory and so on, for us is not the same as it was 1 or 2 years ago. It have a little bit stabilized now, so that's not a main issue.
Yeah, in one of the outcomes of the war, it was sometimes that in specific areas, in fact, the number of orders increased, and which is good. The reason why this is happening is not good at all, but
No.
yeah.
No.
Anyway,
No,
let's go back to let's play an imagination game.
Yeah.
You told us earlier what kind of problem your company is solving in the marketplace. Would be interesting to imagine if in 50 or 100 years the same problem will be solved the same as today, or you can foresee any disruptive technology that might shift dramatically how people think or solve this problem.
I think that we need to go back to the way of let's say the way that the business are approaching the customers, because there are a lot of companies approaching the market, doing it in their own way. I can give an example, like building a house. Previously, you started from the bottom all the time. Now more and more are produced in the factory, and then you have elements prefabricated that you go out, even a bathroom coming in like a box, and you let's say that you mount it in the house and just fix the multi-plugs with the water and so on. Of course, we cannot do the same thing 100% in our business, but I think that we need to look into how we are delivering all the bigger plans and projects and so on. That's one thing I can see could be changing. And another thing is, as I said before, is that the way all the software, the IoT will impact the whole process is perhaps the most important thing. And that is data driven. Today we perhaps the farmers perhaps have data over the moisture of the grain, but there are a lot of other things that they don't know anything about. So I think that somehow we'll see the IoT and the software, the data that we suddenly see in totally different lights will give us other possibilities to use the grain more, not have so much waste and so on. So take care of the grains in a better way than we do today.
Yeah, we are living in times when artificial intelligence is creating or starting to create a huge impact on all industries, basically on all of us. And would you say that its applications will help the grain industry, like you just said earlier, by making sense of all this data?
Yeah, I'll say so. I think that the changes for us, for the agro business, is that the maturity on this field is very low in the industry. Some other industries have a lot higher maturity over IoT and software and data and so on. So when all the artificial intelligence hit us, they are, let's say, more ready to take advantage. I think that a lot of things in the agro business is that we don't have the maturity in our field of it, because the farmers know a lot of the pigs or the cows and the milk and so on, because that have been their main focus. So they know exactly how many grams a pig will add every day by using this feed or whatever. But handling the grains and so on is area in the farms that have been low focus, even if it's high value.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why this is happening?
No, I think it's no. I cannot really say. I'm guessing sometimes that it's not so sexy to have 4 silos and the elevators and the conveyors. But I don't know actually, and I don't understand it, because it is really high value. I think we also have to blame ourselves sometimes that the sales guys in general are more focused in the machines and how the machines are performing in kilowatts and so on, instead of focus on what is the machine doing for the customers. What are the machines? What are the purpose? Customers don't buy an elevator because it's an elevator. They don't buy it because they need to get their material lifted up in the height for some reason.
Yeah.
And to take care of the material in a general way and so on.
Yeah, we should emphasize the value this product is bringing to the customer.
Yeah.
Not what wonderful products we have.
No.
Which is very nice to discuss about it. But if the problem don't have this, if the customer don't have a problem to solve with this equipment, will be just useless information for him. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is what we are really focused on today, is that we have this outside in approach to whatever we do, and participate in visits on the farms and so on, together with our dealers, so we also get an understanding what is the need out there, and how can we help even more.
Yeah. There are a lot of startups, agri-tech startups out there, and the number, I think, is growing.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes the adoption rate is not so encouraging for them, but Would be interesting. What kind of advice would you give to these new tech startups in the agri business, as when they are trying to innovate, to bring something new, to solve new problems or old problems with new solutions? What kind of advice would you give to them?
I say, of course, it depends a little bit on in what is the context on this issue. But in general, I always think that way, that just follow the money. Think like the customer. I normally say that if the cat needs to catch the mice, you don't need to think like a cat. You think like a mice. And that's the same here. If you are more engaged in and try to get in the heads of the customers, then and follow the money, because it always counts. At the end of the day, it's all about money. You can wrap it in different things, in whatever you want to do, nice solutions and so on. But the customers, and we also, of course, at the end of the day, thinking of earning. So that is, I think, my best advice is to follow the money and see what you can do there to help the customer. If you can help him get a little bit more in the wallet, then you have more time for listening.
Exactly. Well, do you invest yourself? Your company is investing in R&D, or do you outsource?
No, we have everything internal, but that said, we are always working together with startups, or always would like to do it where it's relevant with startups, but just to get new things in our perspective, and also get some young people coming in and try to challenge the habits. That is also inside our house is a necessity to do that. So we cannot only say that it's only the customers that have the habit. We also have them. So we need some people coming up from outside and challenge us.
Right. Yeah. We are all creatures of habits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not to blame anyone, because it's natural. It's a human thing that habits can take over.
Yeah. If we can choose one technology that you think will be widely adopted in the grain industry in the next 10, 20 years, where would you put your bet on which technology? Which one do you think you will make an impact in grain technology in the future? Because you are at the forefront of changes.
Yeah, but that will, my answer will shortly be, or will be very short. It will be artificial intelligence. It will be very, very helpful for us, for the customers.
Can you imagine in which way will change the market and how people interact?
I think that like a lot of other industries, we get much better. What should I say? The data gives us much better possibility to choose the right solutions. The problem there is that we don't, as it is now, because in general we don't have so many IoT things on the machines or in the storage and so on. Right now we don't have that many data, so we need to start to collect the data before we can use them. So it takes some years after adopting the technology, but when we are there, then we will have so many data on what is happening in the whole process that we can take the right solution in the right time.
Yeah. Then What would you say about the technology that will not catch on, that will not stick in the industry? Maybe exist today, or maybe, but in the future, you would not bet on it.
Oh, it's very hard to say, because also we need to respect that even if we are developing a lot, there is also a lot of physics that we need to take into consideration. We need to move the material. We need to dry the material. We do the grains and so on, and I don't think, for example, the drying process. Of course, there can be, and I can easily imagine that in the future we can dry the grain coming in perhaps very wet, like here in the northern part of Europe. It often are. We can dry it with much less use of energy and power and so on. But that said, there's a lot of things that we need to also have in the future. But I cannot really say what I will not bet on, because I think that what we need to focus on is the add-ons that we can do on the things right now.
Yeah, in some quite many years ago, I remember that blockchain technology was considered to create a chain of, to identify the source of each grain, basically.
Yeah.
So traceability is very important also today. However, I feel that this technology will not have a life in the grain industry.
No.
So yeah, maybe it's
no, but if I should say only one thing, but it's not that important. But I think that when the new technology take over, all the old control, PLC controls and so on in the machines will die. I think it is a fact there is a totally another technology today, even if a lot of companies still are installing these kind of controls in the different plants and so on. But that will die in the future and be more based on IoT things and what is the new state of arts and that kind. But I'll not say that's a big change. It's only a natural development.
Yeah. Well, we talk a lot about technologies, but we should come back also to the human side. And you worked with a lot of people. You manage teams and so on. So what would you say it is your management style? How do you interact with your teams?
We are, and I also are working a lot on, let's say, value-based. That we have certain values in the company and how we want to treat our partners, and that doesn't matter if it's suppliers or dealers, customers, employees, whatever, neighbors or whatever. We need to treat people and have the values inside us that we treat all the people we meet on our way in a decent way. That's one kind of value. That means also that we believe in the potential of people. That I really believe. I also believe in that we need all to take a responsibility. So when I give, let's say, the frames to then it's up to you to fill it in and to take the responsibility and be focused on the target and go and do your things. So it's really wide freedom and based on the, let's say, the projects, the goals, what we need to reach. And then the values as we are as a company and as human interacting. I say normally, for example, our company is 100% based on relations, and you cannot base a company on bad relations. So it gives itself that also needs to affect in the style of leadership. That you need to have good relations, but that of course goes two ways, always.
Exactly. Yeah, it's because we spoke at the beginning about habits and how sometimes we take decisions based on these habits, and so like an inertia, you know, so and sometimes maybe we miss opportunities or we miss something. Looking back at your history in this industry or maybe in other, would you, so going back, would you change anything? Do you have any regrets, let's say, or you feel that you've missed an opportunity, and would you change that?
No, not really. Not really. I don't have any big regrets. I'm the kind of person that when I close the door, and I always close the door very gently, because I could easily meet the people behind me also in the future. That said, when I close the door, I know that at least two new opens. So and the door I closed, there was a reason that I were there in the future, in the past. So I don't really have any regrets. Of course, there is minors or other things that you will do differently. That comes with the experience, of course. But I normally try really to see at the possibilities and take them if I think that they are the right for the company or the right for me in person or whatever. And when we're talking about work, of course, these two things are the best when they come together.
And what advice would you give to the new generation? What kind of legacy are you trying to create or to leave behind?
Keep on pushing. Challenge the existing. Don't be afraid of habits. Challenge the habits. And if you if you have a goal to go somewhere where then you only listen to people who have been there. Don't listen to people that haven't been there and can't see the end goal, because that's only noise for me. But I ask the people who have been there. So then that's my learning.
That's great stuff. We have a tradition here where the guest has the opportunity to ask a big question to the next guest, even though we don't know who will answer to this question, but will be interesting. Is like a surprise question. Do you have any question like this prepared for our next guest?
No, I have not prepared it. I've thought about it, but I've been a little bit in doubt, because it I work a lot with let's say what is the main focus area in the next 3 months. So when you have passed these 3 months, you need to look back and see, okay, I reached these goals, yes or no. So the question could be, what are the 3 main topics for the next 3 months, and what are the main goals that needs to be reached in the next 3 months?
Interesting. Okay, we'll give this question. We'll push it forward to the next guest. And do you feel that I ask you many questions, but do you feel if I missed one, if you would ask yourself a question that you really want to give answer for, what would that be?
Oh, I think actually we have been a lot around, and I don't. we have been around on the personal side, the human side, which is very important, but also in the business and the techniques, the machine handling, and so on. So I don't no, I don't have any further things that I will place a question about.
Well, Jan, it was a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I hope we can continue the conversation with another occasion. And thank you for watching Agritech Leaders Podcast. Please subscribe for more if you liked our conversation. I promise more interesting guests, and see you soon.